Hey, what's up, guys? Chess here, doing my UPA D-League draft analysis. Sorry for not uploading in like forever. I just kind of got burnt out on uploading, and my laptop used to be really laggy, but I got a new one. And I plan on uploading my entire UPA D-League Season 3 season. Here's my draft analysis for that. First off, I'm just going to kind of go over briefly the competition of the league. We have DS Gaming, Supreme Sean, and Zern, or XRN, Blitz, King Clyde, Big Daddy Dave, Fizzle the Hizzle, Rabs, Muse the Best, me, Thick Bunny, Evader, Magic or David, Troy, and Manly Soap. I'd say everyone in the league's relatively solid, other than maybe like one or two that are a bit worse than the rest. I'd say my division was probably one of the easier ones. Although I haven't seen much from Rabs, Evader's not too great because I don't think he takes it very seriously. And Troy's obviously very solid of a player in general. Um, but yeah, everyone just showing that I think mine is the worst, but it's still really, really solid overall. Just shows this is going to be a really, really fun season overall, I feel. I'm very much so looking forward to it. You can see my 12 mons at the top there, including my Z captains. I will go over all of them in depth relatively soon. Um, but just wanted to give an overview of the competition. Really excited for it. So my first pick at like 14th overall was Garchomp, just because it's incredible physical breaker, incredible dragon type, incredible ground type. Has great utility with Roar, Stealth Rocks, Rough Skin, Rocky Helmet. It can even be like a wall. All the coverage you could ever ask for, really. It just has everything. It has Sword Dance. The only thing it's really missing is like Dragon Dance. But I feel with Dragon Dance would honestly be like ban worthy. Dragon Dance Garchomp sounds absolutely absurd. Um, just because of its already incredible stats and coverage. I feel like that would just be overwhelming. So, but it's a really reliable rocker, really reliable breaker, and it's a reliable just mon to bring to relatively any matchup. There's almost always a Garchomp set that you can make work. Whether it's like a mix, whether it's Scarf, SCZ, Tanky, Rocky Helmet, etc., etc. It's extremely versatile, extremely just overall good in what it wants to do. And with like a plus 2 Z move, anything and everything's just gonna die. Like a plus 2 Z Earthquake or Z Outrage or Z Stone Edge or whatever. It's a monster to prep for. And it can just break down teams single-handedly. It's usually not, it's usually not a sweeper, more of a breaker role. But I feel it is incredible start to any team. Just starting out with a Garchomp, because you can go so many ways of building around it. Um, Next, I ended up getting Greninja, and there was a bit of a funny story with Greninja. My good pal, I was definitely gonna get Infernape, but my good pal Fizzle the Hizzle, he wanted Infernape, and he said if I didn't snipe him, he would prep me 13 games. And I'd already realized that Greninja was kind of a better pickup for my team either way. It kind of fits better with Garchomp with the dual hazards. So I felt like Greninja was either way the better pickup, and I got 13 free preps, and then Fizzle ended up getting sniped on it like 2 picks after me. So it was a pretty funny meme as well. Um, I'm really happy with Greninja here. It's not one of my Z captains, unfortunately, but I don't think Z Greninja is that incredible. It's usually going to want a Life Orb or a Specs or a Sash most of the time, just to either get hazards up or increase its damage output in general. It has all the coverage you could ever need. Has Taunt, has U-Turn, dual spikes, just absolutely incredible stats overall with 95, 103 in the offensive stats, which may look a little underwhelming, but with a Life Orb, and since all its moves are relatively high base power, it's going to be doing a lot of damage. And it has 122 speed. You're going to outspeed a lot of the metagame. Gives me a really good speed tier just to start out. And then, obviously, if you're going to get a ninja, you don't want it to be your only bulky water. So I ended up getting Suicune in round 3. It may look weird to get 2 waters back to back, but I feel like Suicune and Greninja actually have some pretty nice synergy with Greninja being able to set toxic spikes for Suicune, and Greninja being able to U-turn into Suicune, letting it abuse certain Pokemon, like certain ground types. Oops, my bad. Like just letting Suicune take advantage of certain mons. I feel like it doesn't really having dual water isn't really a huge issue. It does make me really weak to grass types, but as you can see, I do fix that later on with a few picks. Um, but Suicune's just incredibly bulky. Pure water is one of the best defensive types in the game, being only weak to like grass and electric, which electric is only like common offensively. You don't really see that many offensive grasses, so it just leaves it able to check a whole lot defensively. It does miss out on recovery, but it has like sub protect with pressure and leftovers, so it can PP stall stuff and get recovery that way. It can run rest talk, which is a classic, meaning it can't get status really. Which it can having no recovery isn't really a huge deal for it, I feel. It also has relatively good coverage, nice niche options like Extra Sensory and Signal Beam and Shadow Ball. Um, but overall, yeah, I think everyone knows what Suicune does at this point. Just fat. Just sits there, Roy stuff around. Roy plus Toxic Spikes and Spikes from Greninja is great. Calm Minds Up can be a win condition. It's pretty standard mon at this point, I feel. Next, I ended up getting Metagross because I wanted a really solid Steel type that could beat pretty much any fairy I'm going up against. It has great priority in Bullet Punch, has great coverage overall with EQ, Hammer Arm, Elemental Punches, and it also gave me a really reliable Rocker and a reliable Grass resistance. I felt all of those were very valuable to my team at this point, so getting Metagross round 4 was a great pickup, in my opinion. It can even set up with like Agility and Hone Claws and stuff, and Power Up Punch. Can Pursuit Trap stuff with Pursuit, which is great. Um, Overall, just a really sturdy mon. Great stats all around the board. Good bulk, good offenses. Not really much you can complain about here, other than maybe it's lackluster speed at 70. But even then, at +2 with like an agility, it's not bad. It can outspeed a lot of walls that it may want to break with like a banded set. Next up, I got Mega Manectric just because I wanted a really powerful special breaker. I wanted another pivot to add to my Volturn core. I felt Intimidate also helped my team a bit, just making it easier for Suicune to switch on a lot of physical hits, and making it easier for Metagross and stuff. Just kind of weakening stuff up for Mons to just be able to take the hits better since I didn't have much recovery. So I felt Intimidate was useful. Just a great mon, being able to get rid of flying types that my team didn't like hate flying types, but they weren't good for me, considering most of them are heat wave. So like a strong flying type could break through me, and now I have a nice check to them. Also, being able to immediately break bulky waters reliably is great, because Greninja, Garchomp, Suicune, Metagross all struggle with certain bulky waters. Like say like a Flame Orb Milotic would just kind of soft check on all four of them. So having Manectric is very nice for that. Can just full switch around. Doesn't have great coverage, but it can also. It's an electric. Another good thing about it, it's an electric that can pressure grass types with overheat. So I thought that's another reason why it would be nice for my team. There's not really too much to say about it. It doesn't have much recovery, but it gets all the recovery it needs. It's mainly just going to be full switching and T-bolting, and occasionally clicking fire moves. This is some grass types. Sorry, it's a bit late while I'm recording this, so I'm yawning a bit. But Manectric, I feel, is pretty self-explanatory. On to my next mon. I needed a grass type and I needed a fairy, but I don't think I should have gotten Whimsicott. Whimsicott is what I ended up picking up. It adds to my Volturn. Prankster Defog is always incredible. Has a good typing, incredible utility. Subseed plus T-Spikes is nasty. Memento and U-Turn, all that. Switcheroo, Stun Spore, Tailwind, Taunt. Has great utility, but I just didn't feel like it was the right pickup for my team. I don't like that I compress the Grass type roller and the Fairy type roller into one. I'm thinking of dropping it and something else. I don't exactly know what else. For like Florges and Serena. Just so I can have a dedicated Fairy and a dedicated Grass type and a Wisp Passion. So I don't know if this will be sticking around, but for now, it's a nice mod. I love Whimsicott. I draft it all the time and use it all the time. It's really, really, really good, if you ask me. Um, but again, I just don't feel like it was the right pickup for my team. There's not really much you can say about it other than it's an annoyance with Prankster Subseed and Prankster Defog and Prankster Memento and Trick and such. Or Switcher, I guess, was the same thing. Next, I ended up getting Crobat because I wanted another great speed tier at 130. It kind of has my C tiers filled out really well with 116, 135, 122, 102, 70, 85. Kind of have pretty well balanced speed tiers other than maybe a bit of a gap between Suicune and Garchomp. But I cover that later on in my team. I just feel more hazard control. Crobat is a very, very reliable defogger. It's a good fighting resist, which I didn't have a good fighting resist yet. I guess Whimsicott is kind of a fighting resist, but like it doesn't want to repeatedly switch in because a lot of them get Poison Jab or Gunk Shot. But Crobat just gets phenomenal utility with Taunt, Tailwind, U-Turn, Defog. Even gets Nasty Plot for special sets. Has Haze even. Has Super. Ugh. Has Super Fang as well. Sorry about the yawns, guys. It's just a very, very versatile and solid mon. Banded sets are very difficult to switch into. It has just good, well balanced stats. Its defensive typing is incredible. 4 times fighting resist, 4 times fighting resist, 4 times grass resist, fairy resist, ground immunity, stuff like that. Just incredible overall. Gives me something to beat fairies and grasses, which is the two things Garchomping or Ninja struggle with. So I feel it just had great offensive synergy as well as defensive synergy with my team. Crobat was kind of just the perfect pickup for my team, in my opinion. Fills every role I wanted. Very, very excited to have it on the team. Has stuff like Infiltrator as well, so you can't really sub up on it. It's just very, very good mod. Excited to use it. It's, I believe, my first time using it in the format, so I'm interested to see how it works. Just very good utility mod, very good pseudo breaker with like a banded Brave Bird. Its attack may not be that crazy, but banded adamant Brave Birds are gonna do like pretty much 50% to anything with not a resist. Next, I got Intake. So I wanted an immediate breaker. I wanted a fire type, and that's it. I also wanted a speed tier between Suicune and Garchomp, which it gives me all of that in one. It has good, like obviously if you look at it, it looks like it can be a nice tank. It has good bulk, good stats overall. But mainly the only thing you're doing is slapping a choice band on it and clicking Sacred Fire. That's pretty much all you're doing. You may be clicking like Stone Edge or Stomping Tantrum or E-Speed, occasionally or even Flare Blitz, but you're just clicking Sacred Fire. This is just Banded Sacred Fire, the Pokemon, realistically. We can do like some Tiki Calm Minds sets, kind of in the same vein of Suicune, like Calm Mind Sub Protect sets. But it's just a Banded set, is what I drafted it for. It does kind of get checked by waters, but I have Whimsicott and Manectric for those. So waters aren't a huge deal, and even Taunt Crobat can beat most water types, as long as it doesn't get Scald Burned. Just overall, immediate breaker, which I feel like my team didn't have. Like, I guess Specs Ninja could kind of count as an immediate breaker, but it's not the most reliable one. Manectric is more of a pivot. It can also be a special breaker, though. Garchomp usually needs an SD up to be a true breaker. But just being able to slap a band on this and just click buttons and get chip or kills on anything is just very valuable, I feel. Next, I ended up getting Palisand for Rock Resist, Electric Resist, and a fighting immunity, and a backup rocker. I originally wanted Piloswine in this slot, but I feel Palossand also does the job pretty well, giving me the fighting resist I didn't have. Well, give me another fighting resist so I don't have to rely on Crobat and Whimsicott. Um, but really, I just wanted it for rocks. I just wanted another rocker, and then I wanted a better electric community that isn't 4 times weak to HP Ice. Overall, it's a really solid mod. It'll come to like 4 games max. But the games it comes to, I guarantee it'll do a ton of work. It just needs the right matchup. Cause certain matchups, it can just roll like a majority of teams. Its typing is pretty niche, but it's decent offensively. It doesn't have it doesn't have bad special attack at all at 100. It has good enough coverage. It does what it needs to. It has shore up recovery. It's one of my first recovery mons. Really, all I have are Crobat, Palossand, and Whimsicott. So it's overall just a nice mon, nice budget ground type. These last 3 picks I feel are a bit more experimental than the rest. They weren't really to fill certain roles. So I'll kind of talk a bit less on them. Porygon Z is just something I've always wanted to try. Just look at its stats. You just look at that special attack stat. 135 with adaptability and download and analytic. It's just absurd to switch into. Like especially with Z moves that I gave this thing, you can go Normalium Z from this thing. I don't think anything switches in. Like unless you're a Ghost type, then you have to take a Shadow Ball and it's just and like if I'm download and Shadow Ball, you're taking like 10 million. So nothing's really reliable switching to a Porygon Z. So it looked like a fun mon to have. Gives me another immediate breaker that I was talking about lacking. So like Entei and Porygon make a nice wall breaking core. I feel they can break down most teams. And even then, Porygon Z, its bulk isn't the worst. Like 85, 70, 75 obviously isn't great, but it's not bad. It has all the utility that a P2 would have, like Recover, Toxic, T-Wave, stuff like that, Trick. And the added boost of like Nasty Plot and stuff. So it just looked like a fun one to try. And I saw it there. It was like 11 points, so not too much. Decided why not. Next, I got Masquerain, because webs can really support stuff like Entei and Garchomp and Greninja and Metagross and Porygon Z and even my last mon. So I felt webs were nice to have. Just give me some decent speed control. It'll come to like 2 or 3 games, set webs, then die. It's pretty much its job. It's one of the better webbers in my opinion though, because of Intimidate and U-turn and Defog and stuff like that. Has Quiver Dance and decent special attack, so maybe it can do some work offensively if you need it to. But I doubt on this team I'll ever need it to do offensive work. Mainly it's just gonna set webs and die, or maybe you turn out and defog and maybe stun spore some stuff. But that's about it. It's a really solid mon overall, in my opinion. Just spam like hydro pumps and hurricanes and bug buzzes and set webs. Does all it needs to do for a cheap price of like 5 or 6 points. So I'm happy with the pick. Webs pretty much just gave me another hazard option. I have I have all possible hazards. I have dual spikes. I have rocks. Dual spikes from Greninja. Rocks from Garchomp, Metagross, Palossand, and webs from Masquerain. So I'm pretty happy with my hazard game. My removal's a bit lackluster, but just Masquerain, just cheap Weber. Didn't really hurt to pick it up because I didn't feel like I needed any other crucial roles. And last mon I got was Jinx, just because my good pal Pi, he wanted me to use it. Just I don't know. I guess he'd seen it used in the past, saw it did well. And I had 3 points left for a Z Captain, and it looked kind of fun with like a nasty plot up and an ICMZ on your webs. It can break down some teams if the Steel type is gone, or you can Z Draining Kiss, or not Z Draining Kiss, Z Lovely Kiss, put him to sleep and boost your speed at the same time. And you can get a nasty plot up, potentially sweep late game if their Steel is chipped or dead. So it just looks like a fun mon. not really too much to say about it. It has okay enough coverage. Mainly just looking at the ice and psychic stab though, and nasty plot. Like it, I wish they got like focus blast or something. Um, but it'll do its job. It'll have the matchup. It'll come. Oh, it does get focus blast. I genuinely did not know that. Okay. I could have swore it didn't get focus blast for some reason. Um, but it looks like a fun mod. I'm excited to try it out. Overall, I feel like my team isn't that special, but I think it fits my playstyle, even though it has a lot of new faces like Mega Manectric, Jinx, Masquerade, Porygon Z, Suicune, all pretty new to me. I don't think I've used a lot of these mons before, but I'm very excited for this team overall. It just fits my style of like bulky offense or just hyper offense because I feel like I can build balanced, bulky offense and hyper offense with this team. So it gives me a lot of flexibility. I don't think it's the best team in the league at all. I'd say there's definitely better ones, but I think it'll work for me. But anyways, I think that's all for me today. Chess.